Hi, this is Jerry Walsh from Ditch Project, and today we are going to compare the new Meinl Sonic Energy steel tongue drum in the scale of G major with the RAV, you could call it a tongue pan, because it's a combination hybrid of a handpan and a steel tongue drum, the ELO Pygmy scale, with the Aura Handpan, which is in the G oxalis scale. The other thing you may have noticed in the video that is different is that we have handpan stands for the first time, which is super cool and I've been really enjoying. It creates an entirely new feel to playing these instruments. Be able to stand and play the drums. A whole other level of flow comes through and I've really been enjoying that. And so these are three very different drums. They look similar. There's a similar type of sound, but they are totally different. And I'm going to play first just a little bit of sound, some music with each one of them, combining it because they all harmonize with the scales. And then I'm going to talk about the differences and what makes them unique. So we have three different scales here. They all harmonize together. We have three different drums. So just a simple kind of rundown of each one. The Aura Handpan, this is the most expensive drum that we have available out of the three here. And it's all made by hand. These two are made by machine. There's not necessarily pro or con to that is overwhelming in my opinion. The RAV and this Sonic Energy steel tongue drum both sound epic and they sound really beautiful, and they're a lot of fun to be playing. When we were making this video, I was sitting here and playing them for quite some time just as my friends were setting up. However, with the Aura Handpan, what sets it apart as to why it's more expensive is there's a lot more unique sounds that you can get out of it. Just some simple things that sound really cool you can do with it are these like snare drum kind of sounds with slaps of the finger. You can't really do that on the steel tongue drum, the Meinl. Well, you kind of can, but it's not as pronounced. And on the RAV drum, it's sort of in between. So there's a couple different nuances with that. You also can get this really cool sound that I absolutely love with the handpans where you kind of punch the side of the drum that's off the tonal field. So, for instance, and you can give it a good shot. It's okay to do so long as you know where you're hitting on the drum. This is actually a very fragile instrument, but if you hit on the shoulder off the tonal field, meaning where the notes are, it actually works really well. It's totally safe to do that. You can't really do that on steel tongue drums. Even the RAV drum doesn't really work. You can hear it as a player, but if you're performing for anyone, no one's going to hear it, while for a handpan it's like a very powerful sound, especially through a microphone. That being said, both of these drums are amazing. I own a RAV drum. We just got these in stock, and I've always loved when I've gone to music stores and I've seen these for sale. I've always immediately go up and play these things. So I just love them. They just immediately bring a lot of peace and a lot of harmony, and the sustain on these drums is really powerful and distinct. That's something that the RAV and the Sonic Energy drum stand out with, is the amount of delay sustain they have. So for instance, if I hit the RAV drum, sound is still going. The note is still carrying even still. Pretty much it's still going, but it's almost gone. If I hit the Sonic Energy drum, especially if I hit it with the mallets, these are the mallets that come with the drum, and I recommend the mallets for this drum if you want to get a more expressive sound, one that is more in higher volume. But the sustain on this is like really powerful. So it's similar to the RAV Drum. What I find as a player, when you play this and you hit several of these notes together, it really floods the space with the sound, and it really carries and holds for a long time. With the Aura Handpans, I feel these are more like rhythmic instruments, and these fall more into the category, especially this one, of like a meditative instrument. The Aura Handpan, on the other hand, is definitely more of like a rhythmic instrument. The sustain is nice, but there's a big difference there. You can really feel it as a player, you can really hear it as a listener, and it's gone, pretty much. So the way I kind of like to look at it is, to me, this is really more of an instrument that's like excellent for sound healing, for sound meditation, for just any kind of meditation as all. You can use it rhythmically, though. It's definitely not out of the question to use this rhythmically, to use this in a performance piece. I've seen people do that, and I think it's a really cool instrument to implement in that way. The RAV Drum is both a rhythmic and a sound meditation, sound healing instrument. I don't feel it's limited to either one. And the Aura is definitely more of a rhythmic instrument, but I've also used it in sound meditation many times and in sound healing, and it works great. So I would say that while these two fit more into the meditative aspect, especially the new Sonic Energy one, they're not limited to it. Just like the Aura, it fits more into the rhythmic, percussive type expression of a drum, while at the same time it's not limited to it. So there's different things to look at with what you're trying to get out of the instruments. If you're someone that wants to have something that is more affordable, that is easy to play, as this is extremely simple. There's no center bass note on this instrument, by the way. There's just a logo here, but you can, I don't think they designed it to be played like that, but you could be creative with it and do that. I like to be creative with these instruments. For instance, when I was playing this drum, I was doing this with a mallet. You could just be creative with things and not get boxed in. That's, I think, the nature of these instruments, is that they weren't originally designed for musicians. They were created for anyone to play it. They were called sound sculptures when they were first invented, because they weren't technically instruments. They're just things that anyone could play, anyone with no musical background could use to create music and sound. Like I said, these are awesome for just creating a lot of peace and a lot of meditative energy just in the vibration of it, and just to play it on its own. It's like the sound of peace and happiness. It's just a really beautiful, relaxing sound to have. You just kind of want to have it keep going and going. And what's great about these two instruments is the durability of these are just excellent. So you can see it's really sturdy. It would take quite a bit to mess this up. Same thing with the RAV drums, which is great. I've taken mine all over the world, and I've never had any dents or anything with it. I've taken it on airplanes and kept it in an overhead compartment and brought it to all kinds of crazy places, and nothing's ever happened to it. The handpans, on the other hand, they're by Aura. Like I said, these are pretty fragile instruments. If this was to fall, you could hit one of the notes here, and you would have to take it to a tuner to get it retuned, which is not a big deal. But it is something that you have to be conscientious of, that these things can be damaged quite easily. And you have to also be mindful of how hard you strike it. If you strike it too hard, you can knock it out of tune. These instruments, on the other hand, I've only heard of one case where a RAV drum went out of tune. There was something strange that happened, and it was a very much an older model that happened from several years ago. These two instruments, they basically never go out of tune. They're just designed to just be built like tanks. The steel tongue drum is also called a tank drum because they would traditionally make it out of propane tanks. And they're just sturdy. They're built to last. They sound beautiful. They have a lot of harmony and a lot of peaceful resonance that come through them. And you can also play them rhythmically too, you know. or you can do it with your hands as well. One thing that the Sonic Energy does not have, that the RAV Vast and the Aura have, are harmonic overtone notes that you can make. For instance, you have like the fundamental note here, but then what you can do is you can put one finger down to mute it, and what happens is the harmonic overtone comes out and splits the note. So you have the fundamental and then the overtone, fundamental, overtone. That higher pinging sound. With the Aura, I have to kind of guess where it's at. So there it is. And you could find it all over the tonal field in different notes. Each one has a different placement. Some of them have 2 or 3 depending on how it was built and this and that. The other thing you may have noticed in the video that is different is that we have handpan stands for the first time, which is super cool and I've been really enjoying. It creates an entirely new feel to playing these instruments. I don't know how to explain it more, you just have to experience it, but to be able to stand and play the drums feels really a whole other level of flow comes through, and I've really been enjoying that. And what's great is there's 2 different stands that we have here. These 2 are the bigger stands that can go up higher, and this one is a smaller stand that's more designed if you are going to be sitting but you want to stand anyway. There's a lot of situations where maybe you have several drums set up, or you're just someone that prefers to sit while you play but you don't want to have the drum on your lap. This drum can be used on your lap, but sometimes it's nice to have it on a stand. If you're doing any kind of live music performance where you have perhaps like you need to be standing, this is a perfect thing to have. But this one, for instance, it works fine for me while standing, can play it very easily, but it is better for sitting because you can make it shorter, while these other ones here are better for if you're in a standing position. For instance, I can take the drum off and I can raise it up quite high, actually. That's probably, yeah. That's a little high for me, but you can get a sense of the height of what it can go to. So it's pretty cool. It just feels different to be standing up and you have the drum in front of you like this. I have a friend named Zalem who's come and worked with us at Ditch Project, and he does performances with a didgeridoo stand. He uses a loop station. He has his RAV drum on a RAV drum stand like this, and he also has, I believe he uses like Logic Pro or something like that, and he has a whole setup so he can move around the stage and do different things, and he's not limited. Because if you are doing live performances and you have a drum on your lap, that can be kind of difficult. Or if you're someone that has back problems, which is something I have struggled with, this is really nice. It's a great way to like keep a good posture and not feel that you are slouching. We all already spend enough time on the computer sitting down, so it's good to have something where we can stand up. And one thing that I was really impressed with when I opened these up earlier today is how sturdy they are. They're built really well. They're very strong. You can bring it down quite a bit as well for the larger one. So, and then you can adjust this depending on the size of your drum. This part will collapse or expand, and they have really nice rubber stops here to prevent any kind of damage from happening with the handpans. No scratches are going to be had, and like I said, they're very sturdy. They feel really good. When I play them, I'm not concerned about the drums falling over. They move a little bit because I hit the drums really hard, but ultimately they're not going anywhere. So I have a lot of confidence when I play with it that I'm not going to knock over my $1,500 drum here or something like that. So I highly recommend these if you are someone that is looking to kind of change your playing up a little bit and you want to have a little bit more range and dynamic aspect to how you're doing things with the drums. Now we're going to take a look at the 3 scales of the Meinl Sonic Energy Steel Tongue Drum. We have here the G major, the A minor, and the A Akebono. A minor. A Akebono. A Akebono scale is like a more kind of darker, mysterious scale, kind of like a eerie kind of sound to it, which is actually great, I think, for meditation. I find the minor kind of sound there really like brings it into a place that's more kind of mystical and ethereal, that kind of thing. While the A minor, once again, the minor scale, it kind of like helps bring in that like darker, kind of more meditative sound. It has a less mysterious tonality than the A Akebono, but it still kind of has that vibe on some level. And what's nice about A minor, I find as someone that does a lot of sound meditation and uses instruments like this quite often, that A minor is just like a key that a lot of different musicians within the sound meditative world play in, and there's a lot of instruments that work with that. A lot of flutes, a lot of handpans, many different scales of all different types, guitar. So it's a great key to have if you're playing with other instruments and you're playing with other musicians. The G major is more bright and happy and has a more uplifting tone to it, and that also can be great for meditation. It just depends what you're looking for with what kind of sound you want out of the handpan steel tongue drum that you have. This is the case that the Sonic Energy steel tongue drums come in, which is this nice little handle. It zips up, keeps them protected. It's not deeply padded, but these are very durable drums. It has enough padding that if you were to drop it, it would protect it. Nothing would really happen to it. It comes with these rubber mallets, which are good because they have a pretty durable handle. They're not like thin wood that's going to snap if there's any pressure on it. They have some flexibility and durability to them. So it's a great drum. It's going to be easy to travel with. It's lightweight. It has a case that has a strap with it. So the Meinl Sonic Energy steel tongue drums are only $2.99, which is a great beginner entry-level price as they are cheaper than any handpans or RAV drums on the market. Thank you for watching this handpan steel tongue drum comparison video. You can find the Aura Handpan, the Meinl Sonic Energy steel tongue drum, the RAV drum, and the Meinl Handpan drum stands all on Ditch Project's website. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out more videos from us on throat singing, beatboxing, didgeridoo, handpan, percussion, and much more. Thank you for watching.